This is not only a story, but also a reality of our society. There are two people in this story. One is a philosopher, and the other is a young person from our society, his name Kabir. They are discussing human relationships, and through this discussion, the philosopher explains the deeper truth of life to the youngster. In a quiet room filled not with silence, but with unanswered questions, a youth sits across from a philosopher. The youth carries invisible wounds, fear, loneliness, self-doubt, questions that echo in the minds of millions. Is loneliness the absence of people, or the pain of being unseen? The philosopher drops a statement so sharp that it fractures the youth's understanding of life. The youth resists. How could love, fear, happiness, freedom, and the meaning of life all be reduced to something so ordinary? Isn't humanity meant for something deeper? Thus begins a battle, not between two people, but between human emotion and uncomfortable truth. All problems are interpersonal relationship. Problems, the youth. Mr. Kabir is asking to philosopher. Kabir, wait a minute. Are you saying that to end all problems a person must live completely alone in the universe? What does that even mean? If someone lived alone, wouldn't they feel extremely lonely? Philosopher, being alone does not automatically make a person feel lonely. Loneliness happens when people are surrounded by society and other people, but still feel excluded or unwanted. To feel lonely, we actually need other people. In fact, a person becomes an individual only when they exist in a social environment. Kabir. So, if a person truly lived alone in the universe without anyone else, they wouldn't feel lonely at all. Philosopher. Yes. In such a case, the idea of loneliness wouldn't even exist. There would be no need for language, logic, or common sense. But this situation is impossible. Even if you lived on an empty island, you would still think about someone far away. Even when you are alone at night, you listen for signs of another human being. As long as other people exist somewhere, loneliness will follow us. Kabir. Then couldn't we say that if a person lived alone, all their problems would disappear? Philosopher. In theory, yes. Kabir, psychologist Alfred Adler clearly said that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. Kabir. Can you please say that again, sir? Philosopher. Yes, I can repeat it any number of times. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. This idea is at the heart of Adler's psychology. If all relationships disappeared, if a person were truly alone in the universe, then all problems would disappear as well. Kabir. Sir, what sounds untrue? It feels like an overcomplicated theory. Philosopher. Of course, Kabir, humans cannot live without relationships. Human existence itself depends on other people. Living completely alone is impossible, so the idea of living alone in the universe is unrealistic. Kabir. I agree that relationships cause many problems, but saying every problem comes from relationships feels extreme. What about personal worries, self-doubt, fear, or inner pain? Aren't those individual problems? Philosopher. There is no worry that exists completely on its own. What we call internal problems are always connected to other people in some way. Even when we suffer alone, the influence of others is always present. The youth argues fiercely. Surely some problems are internal, self-hate, loneliness, fear of failure. Surely not everything depends on others. But the philosopher calmly dismantles the illusion. Loneliness does not exist without society. Self-worth is born in comparison. Fear is shaped by judgment. Even silence screams because somewhere, someone exists. The youth realizes something terrifying. Even when we think we are fighting ourselves, we are fighting the shadows of others. Still, the youth refuses to surrender. To accept this truth would mean accepting responsibility for avoidance, for fear, for self-dislike. Kabir asking again, but philosophers usually talk about bigger things, happiness, freedom, the meaning of life. These are deep questions discussed since ancient times. Are you saying all of that comes down to relationships? That sounds too simple. Philosopher. Then let me explain it more clearly. Kabir. Yes, please. If you are a philosopher, you must explain it properly. Philosopher. You were so afraid of relationships that you began to dislike yourself. By hating yourself, you avoided getting close to others and avoided the risk of being hurt or rejected. These words shook the young man deeply. They felt painfully true and touched his heart. Still, he struggled to accept the idea that all human problems come from relationships. To him, it felt like Adler was making people's suffering seem too simple. At that moment, everything changes for the young man. The philosopher speaks calmly but honestly, saying that the youth was so afraid of relationships that he began to dislike himself instead. By hating himself, he avoided the fear of being rejected by others. These words do not just reach his ears, they touch his heart. The young man becomes silent and for the first time truly understands that his loneliness was not his destiny. His self-hatred was not the truth, and his pain was a result of avoiding connection with people. No tears fall, but a heavy misunderstanding fades away. The belief that his problems existed only within himself. The philosopher does not try to comfort him. He gives him clarity. Though painful, this clarity brings freedom. Finally, the young man realizes that healing does not come from running away from people, but from having the courage to face them. Finally, the moral of this conversation, finding that all human suffering is rooted in relationships, not because people are weak, but because humans are meant to connect. We fear rejection, so we reject ourselves first. We fear judgment, so we hide behind loneliness. We call problems internal to avoid confronting others. But growth begins when we stop running. True freedom is not living alone, it is living bravely among others. Self-acceptance begins when we stop using self-hatred as a shield. Healing starts the moment we take responsibility for how we relate to people. Thanks for watching.